Counterterrorism coordinator with the Department of Homeland Security. He's our go-to guy. Good morning, John Cohn.
Morning. Thanks for having me on again.
All right, let's talk about what happened in Florida and the passing of this gun legislation signed by Governor Scott down there. Lots have been made of it. Will it actually do any good, in your opinion?
Well, the Florida legislation does a couple important things. First, it sets up a process for law enforcement to work more closely with school systems and with mental health professionals to assess the risk posed by people in the school environment. But secondly, what it does is it establishes a formalized mechanism for when someone comes to the attention of law enforcement, when they've been evaluated and they are thought to be at high risk of committing an attack, there is a process, a due process that allows law enforcement to temporarily restrict access from that individual to firearms. And that's important because, as we've discussed multiple times, these people come to the attention of authorities. They are considered to be high risk, but the authorities are sort of hamstrung. There's nothing they can really do, only to see these people go out and commit attacks. So this may be a good step in preventing future attacks. How
is that similar or different to what Congress did the other day where they passed this Stop School Violence Act?
Right. So what Congress what passed the House yesterday was basically a piece of legislation that establishes a grant program that gives a modest amount of money or makes modest amount of money available to state and local jurisdictions. And those funds can be used to pay for security upgrades at schools and for training and other activities associated with schools being able to identify individuals who represent a high risk and conduct threat assessments of those people to determine how high of a risk they actually are. So it's a good, modest first step. Some of my concerns is that it only applies to the school environment, and as we've discussed in months past, we're seeing a number of mass casualty attacks in other environments as well. So it doesn't do a lot to address those attacks. It also doesn't have any thing that focuses on how you restrict access to firearms by high-risk individuals.
Yeah. John, a lot of people want the age to be at 21. They want to ban bump stocks. They want to do all of these other things. It's all well and good and it's feel good, but is it not sort of closing the barn door once the cows are out because of the gun show loophole? I mean, it seems like all of these regulating these retail outlets that sell guns do nothing to stop the transfer of guns with gun shows.
Yeah, I think that's a really valid point. And, and in discussions I've had with people, the whole idea that we're going to pass legislation in this country, particularly in the current political environment, that's going to put significant restrictions on the ability of people to buy firearms, I'm just very pessimistic. And to your point, there's a lot of firearms that are already out there in the illicit marketplace. Much of the background check and other restrictions only apply to sales by federal firearms dealers and don't apply to other places where people can acquire guns. A lot of guns used in crime are stolen. So, it's very difficult to solve this problem simply by regulating the sale of firearms. That's why, from my perspective, as someone who's been involved in this, for a long time, it's more important that we focus on identifying those people who we consider to be high risk and taking steps to restrict, even if it's on a temporary basis, those individuals with underlying mental health issues who are exhibiting characteristics of being a mass casualty attacker. We need to be able to stop them we need to restrict their access to firearms, even if it's temporary. And there's ways to do it.
Yeah.
States are beginning to do it.
John Cohn, ABC News consultant and former counterterrorism coordinator with the Department of Homeland Security. Thank you, sir. Have a good day.